Hello, welcome to another episode, a daytime episode of Drinking with
Ooh,
Comics. I'm Shawn.
no mood lighting, Mike. I'm no mood lighting,
it,
Mike.
it really isn't daytime. It's almost 7 o'clock, but
Yeah,
normally we do these later and it's dark and we're all mood lighting, all about the mood lighting.
yes.
Not
Today
today.
it's all in the sun, all visible to all to see.
Yes. And we've got, so first of all, the beer. Uh, I suggested to Mike we just go with my old standby. This is my kind of, I might love Sierra Nevada Pale Ale more than I love beer, period. But yeah, we're gonna drink some Sierra Nevada.
Yay!
Ah. You
Oh,
know,
too foamy.
the Anchor Steam closure from a year or two ago scares the shit out of me because if Sierra Nevada were to close, I don't know what I would do. I literally don't know what I'd do.
Where they at? Oh, Nevada.
No, no,
Where
no.
they
They're
at?
in Chino, California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Sierra Nevada mountains. So this this can, the color and the label, I get so much just like peace just looking at it.
That's a love.
What's
I
it? You
don't
want
know
me
if
to
I
drink
have
you? I can handle that.
I don't know if I have a beer I like that much.
Mm.
Maybe like a spotted cow every once in a while when because it's not in reach.
Well, and so that's the thing. Like, there's other beers I really, really, really like, but I
Yeah.
can't get them on a regular basis. This I can. You can get this pretty much anywhere. So it's just all purpose, and I've just grown to absolutely fucking love it. So, I mean, I've drank thousands and thousands of bottles and cans of Sierra Nevada. Don't even know how much.
Gallons
Mm.
upon gallons.
But yes, refreshing. I got my Sierra Nevada pint glass here. My friend Jesus gave me.
I'm drinking mine out of Rolling Rock Extra Pale. Ooh.
Ah, when I was a younger man, I favored Rolling Rock. I thought it was very good beer.
Do they even make Rolling Rock anymore? I haven't
I
seen
think
Rolling
they
Rock.
do.
No.
Well, man, that's one of those beers. It just literally, I'm sure I've probably said this on one of the previous versions of the show at some point, but when I was in my final semester at Columbia College Chicago for audio, the old audio building at 676 North LaSalle had a bar attached to it. The Blue Frog, I think it was called.
Okay.
And after between classes, some of us go down and get a beer or whatever. And I would drink a lot of Rolling Rock at that time, and I felt like, I mean, this is like late '90s. I felt like ice cold Rolling Rock was like top of the line, right? And I'll just never forget one day I went into the Blue Frog and had a Rolling Rock, drank it out of the bottle like normal. It was fine. The next day I went in and it tasted like a completely different beer. I was like, what the fuck? And then I tried it like three more times and I don't know if it was me or the beer, but it was never the same. So I was like, bye.
I don't think I was ever a fan of Rolling Rock. I just so happen to have this Rolling Rock grass that I like because it's green. It says Rolling Rock on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of timeless.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that like kind of indie rock
Yeah.
scene in Wicker Park and Chicago in the late '90s, very early 2000s. I associate a Rolling Rock with that because we'd go any bar you'd go to, they'd have it ice cold. Put some John Spencer on the jukebox and pop open a fucking Rolling Rock. Mike, what are we going to start with today?
Oh, is it Death Planet?
Planet Death.
Planet Death. Oh, I'm sorry. I got that mixed up with I got my planets wrong. Where did my Planet Death go? Hold on. Oh, feel that high quality paper.
So I saw this on the stand last week, and it had clearly been there for a while. It was in like the section where, it's like the monthlies that haven't sold down or whatever.
Hmm.
And this is $1.99. It's not many pages. It's under 20 pages, I think. Maybe it's 20 pages. And it's newsprint. It's a very certain kind of newsprint. It's not like the Alterna Comics newsprint. This is like a sturdier newsprint.
Yeah.
And I thought by buying it, I was helping out some like indie creator.
No,
And now, while Bad Idea is an indie, it's a just launched.
no, they're not that indie. They
Well,
get
they're not
high
that indie, but
end.
they're not the big
Yeah,
three, right? Or the big
no,
two in
they're not the
Image,
big
right?
three. They think they're better or something, but they're.
Well,
I mean, they're not. They have some ideas.
well,
Some of them are
yeah.
not good.
But I don't know anything else about them but this. But so when I started looking at it, I was like, oh, this is the creator of this is Derek Kolstad, who wrote the John Wick movies. He's a screenwriter that
Yes,
wrote them. So this is not like just some guy in New Lenox that's like trying to do a startup comic. But also like when you look at like the art in this is fucking awesome.
it is very cool, especially like on this crappy paper. It still looks really good, which is when you get some glossy paper, it's gonna really pop.
Oh, dude, I think this paper is stellar for this. I think it adds to the experience. I don't want it on glossy paper.
Oh,
Like
I
I
think
think
you'll
this
get a
is
better paper,
no.
but who
Well,
knows?
so
We'll see. We'll
it,
come find out in July when a new one comes out.
it's interesting. So first of all, in the afterword, they say that this is um, it shattered best-selling independent comic record of the last 30 years, a feat unseen since Wildcats #1 and the birth of Image Comics. There were
Or
655,000 copies ordered at the time of printing for this, before
oh,
final cutoff.
to be fair,
Please educate me.
I'm going to bust your thing there. So we ordered a shit ton of these books because it came out right around time for Free Comic Book Day, and the cost of this book was cheaper than most of our free comic book costs.
Wow.
So I think it might be like I'm not 100% sure what the price is, but it's like a quarter.
Okay.
So of course you're going to order like 3,000 these. We ordered a
Good.
thousand just to
Good
give
point.
away on Free Comic Book Day, and then once whatever's left over, we're going to sell for $1.99.
Oh, so this was okay. Got it. Got it.
So it isn't like I'm not going to say this is like, oh, hey, great job making all those sales out of nowhere. No, you did a ton of sales because this was your version of Free Comic Book Day that you were not really selling for Free Comic Book Day. Hence the cheap paper. Hence the
Well, so
uh,
they say in the afterword, the paper is part of it. And in fact, they say that it took them time to negotiate the sale. It took them time to find it. And then it took them time to negotiate the sale, and they had to buy the entire stock of this paper.
that could be the case.
So
That
I
could
do
there.
think this is, but it's also smart to keep their costs down. Now, if they blow up and they become fucking enormous, I'm sure they'll get rid of, they'll run through this and then like
Well,
not do that anymore.
Bad Idea is kind of famous for like this is their third run of comics.
Okay, so they've
They
been
they
around for
they
a
do
while.
they've been around for 3 years. They do this whole thing where they're not reprinting them in trades.
Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Is this that company?
Yes.
Oh,
But yeah, they
okay.
had several other books before. I can't remember their name, but this is like their third run or fourth run. They come out, they do a bunch of books, then they disappear for a while. They don't reprint them all. So it's they got their run of comics with high writers and high artists.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Dude, the art in this is
Planet
just
Death.
unreal.
It is very good. I do enjoy it. I'm looking forward to seeing issue 1 and issue 2.
Issue
I
one is
didn't.
July 9th. It's going to hit the stands. And this is, man, this reminds me of like 80s. I don't know what specifically, but as soon as I open this, I'm reminded of like some of the independent stuff from the 80s. It's got a very like 80s cyberpunk kind of feel to it,
It's
like old
it's
Dark
um
Horse.
it reminds me a lot of Warhammer.
So, and I don't really know much about Warhammer, but I know
I don't
enough to
either.
like connect that dot and go,
Yeah,
oh, okay.
I think the whole thing like these soldiers are welded into their armor and stuff like that. That's straight up Warhammer. Like I think yeah, Warhammer guys are cybernetically put into their armor. Um, but this has like to me it felt like a rejected Warhammer script, or like the guy had like an idea for a Warhammer movie. This was what it was going to be. It didn't pan out, so now he's doing this instead.
Yeah, I could see. I mean, which is fine,
Which
and
is fine. Yeah, there's
it
nothing wrong
reminded
with that.
me.
Let's get the good idea out there.
Yeah, and it reminded me that like I don't know anything about Warhammer, and it's just not my thing. But it's based on Warhammer itself is probably inspired by stuff that I would have liked. You know,
Yeah,
again, I just like 80s Dark Horse. I couldn't give you a specific title,
like if they
but
ever make a Warhammer movie or TV show, I would watch it. I just don't play games
yeah,
nor deal with miniatures, so it's not. It's always something like I'd look at and be like, well, that's really cool. Looking, he's got a big old sword as a chainsaw, and he's riding his big old bike, and there's scripture written on their armor and stuff like that. There's a lot of neat lore there, but it's a game I could care.
yeah,
I'm not a gamer.
right.
I have no desire to play this game. I'd rather read the book, or I know there's books out there, I should say. I'd rather watch a movie, just give it 2 hours of my life and that's it. I don't
Yeah,
need to
right,
give it any
right.
more. But
Oh
yeah,
man.
it's good. The art's pretty. This giant ship at the end was kind of cool.
Oh, it so looks like
Um,
something out of like an alien movie or
yeah, I like that. Like the at the beginning, you're like, oh shit, these I was gonna say Ultramarines, but that's the name of the guys from Warhammer. But
right.
these guys are like really kicking some ass, and the bad guys are like, oh no, wait, ha ha ha, we have this instead, and
Yeah.
we're shooting you down because we're still badasses. This is that great '80s cybery punk comic art from other countries that you would see. That's amazing. It's fun
Yeah.
to look at. The details just insane.
Yeah, it really is. And I really like it on this paper. Like I think it just adds to that nostalgia maybe, but my God, it is I, I just
I'd have to see it on other paper to compare. Like, yeah, you're right. The nostalgia factor is like in the '80s, you could never get something printed this good on this paper and have
yeah,
it look
right.
good like this.
Exactly. Exactly. It's the
But
technology's
I
changed.
would love to see it glossy and kind of shiny, and maybe even bigger format would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen because it's a bad idea, and they
Uh,
don't
th-
reprint their stuff.
It's basically the story of this like battalion of space marines that are going to this planet of monsters, basically to take out a weapon that threatens Earth. They get destroyed, and only one lives. And I guess the book is going to follow him going behind enemy lines on a hostile planet to try to complete the mission. Um, Number one hits July 9th. There's anyone interested? There's probably, you heard what Mike said, there's probably copies still at your shop. There were a ton at mine.
Yeah,
Um,
same here. We have a bunch left over.
and it's $1.99, and I'm definitely very interested. I'm definitely going to follow this. The other stuff I saw by this company looked cool. There was one called like The Lot or something like that that was about like a film prop or I don't remember, but that looked really cool. But I never ended up grabbing any of that stuff. But this is like I don't know. It's just really speaking to me right now. So very
Yeah, this
cool.
is the. I'm intrigued by this one. I passed it by because I thought it was a bad idea. And then once again, nothing against bad idea. I
No, I
should
get
say
it.
nothing against the people that work there. It's just there's certain hoops that you have to jump through to be a bad idea retailer, and there's points where it's just like, okay, I don't care anymore.
Right.
Like
No, that's understandable.
if Marvel made me jump through those hoops, I probably wouldn't read Marvel anymore. Like
Exactly.
it you're already on a thin line with me because I'm not that much into comic books, so not as I used to be, or
Right.
getting back into now, which is nice.
Well, I feel like my mission is to pull you back in.
Yeah, my mission is to pull you back into. So
And I think we've been doing a good job of that.
yeah,
They did say this will not. It sounds like this will not be a monthly book. Like they will only release an issue when it's perfect. So, I
it's probably only 2 issues because they don't tend to go that long.
no, it's got. Well, this is a zero. So okay, so maybe there'll be a one and a two. Okay, I'd be fine with that. I don't need another ongoing monthly book. And honestly, if it looks like this, it's like the Gargoyle of Gotham. I don't mind waiting a fucking year between issues because when you get a new one, I'm like, oh my God, this is breathtaking. So it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, there is something to be said about that.
We are going to talk now about the Energon universe. And it'll be more than a minute. So Mike and I caught up on our Energon universe. I mean, I was caught up, but I reread a couple issues to kind of get fresh for this, and I feel like I'm a little bit more interested right now than I have been. I mean, Transformers has been consistent. Void Rivals has been consistent. I think it was really the Joe kind of, I don't know. It just kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit. That I just am not loving that series. But
Enjoyed it still.
so but you know what's so
but all of them are kind of taking the wind out of my series because I keep forgetting that they came out and I keep forgetting to read them. So we do one of these things, I'm like, oh crap, I haven't read G.I. Joe in 3 months, and then I have to go
but
back
we
and
haven't
reread
been
them all.
covering it, so it's
Yeah.
fine. And you know, Joe still isn't great. The new issue I liked quite a bit, but I loving the Joes that like Doc is in the fucking Transformers book right now.
Yeah.
I loved it. Like it's been really cool to see that. Or like the whole thing with Clutch. We talked about Clutch and Hound kind of forming a partnership in the Energon universe special. So that was super cool.
Yeah. They're getting a little more cohesive on that end. Not that it wasn't already before, but
Well,
it is intriguing.
so what did you think about number 7, the Beachhead issue?
I liked it. I kind of felt at the end it was a little anticlimactic, like, oh look, there's a bat in a box.
I did, dude. I've 100% with you right there. I don't. Here's the only thing I can think. So the first time I read it, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" This time, I'm like, "Okay, so is the thing gonna be? They're gonna use this tech to develop, I don't know, like something robotic for the Joes. I don't know in the Joe lore if they're what is there that's robotic? Now it's like Cobra has bats, but they also have snake armor.
There was some weird thing in the early '90s where they had like these battle station droid mech thing that they were piloting, but that was, like when GI Joes were in space and right before it all became Street Fighter, I think. So I don't think it's going to be anything like that, but I think it's going to be more just reversing that technology for their own. Because GI Joe in the beginning was just straight up military guys, you know, fatigue greens piloting, vamp
Oh, did
jeeps
you
that were.
you
No,
got
this is
it?
the little one. This is the little guy.
Oh,
I got
okay.
the little one from 10 years ago.
Okay.
I can't do the big ones. I'm too far gone. um, but and eventually it got weirder and weirder
Yeah.
technology wise. The toys got different, and I could see maybe that's just them upping their weird technology game, I guess you can say. Um,
Yeah.
where the vehicles got weirder and more fantastical as the show, less military, more. I want to pull off of their like this guy stuff. Well, it's a Cobra
Battle
vehicle.
Force. Is this from Battle Force 2000?
No, that's Cobra, but still, it's a weird
No, Battle Force
looking.
2000 was Joe.
Yeah, but this is a Cobra Wolf
Oh,
thing.
got
This
it,
is
got it. Okay,
a
sorry,
Ice
got it.
Wolf or something. Yeah, it's Ice Wolf, I think. But look how weird it is. It's like got two cockpits here. This weird sled thing shoots off missiles. It's not. You don't see this on a military parade.
No.
Period. It doesn't exist.
Not yet.
It makes not yet. It doesn't make sense.
Wait a minute, wait a
Where
minute. Here's a test. Does it harass peaceful, harmless citizens?
well, it's an ice wolf. It's piloted by an ice viper, I believe.
Oh, well, what do you know? I don't know. This issue, I did really like it, and I like. So I've never been a fan of the like Python Patrol and fucking Night Force and whatever else, valedictorian patrol or whatever. But
Tiger,
I
Tiger, was it Tiger
Tiger
Force?
Force, I like this idea that Night Force is just like this kind of dirty tricks, black ops kind of thing.
Yeah, which is kind of what it is in the thing. I read like so. What was it? I said Tiger. It's not Tiger Force. I think it's is it Tiger Patrol. Comment below.
Something like that.
But the Tiger one, you remember? I
Hmm.
thought that was always dumb. And then I read that it was a low tech special ops team. It was like in one of the G.I. Joe RPGs or something like that. That their whole deal was the fact that they would go behind enemy lines, repurpose vehicles for themselves. That's why they painted them with tiger stripes, so you knew it was them. And that was like they were all low tech, so they would just go steal all the shit they needed from Cobra.
So
And I
that's
was like,
cool. I just
that's
always thought the
cool.
costumes were dumb. Like they do
Yeah.
these now in classified, and like the best example is like, well, I guess because it's Tiger Force and Python Patrol, and like there's like Python Patrol Copperhead, right? So like you get regular
Mhm.
Copperhead looks awesome, and you Python Patrol Copperhead, I'm like it looks fucking stupid. Looks like a box
I
of
think
crayons exploded.
think like Python Patrol Copperhead I thought looked kind of cool. Oh, I
Oh,
have one over here. Do I have one over here? Oh, look at all the crap I got here. Ooh, water moccasin once
I have
again.
one.
Oh,
I have one right
that's
here.
kind of a realistic vehicle almost.
Yeah.
Um, no, I had the one that came with him was a Python Patrol one, and I didn't think he looked that bad. But as far as like the other Python Patrol guys that were kind of like garnished colors that didn't work too well,
Yeah.
and yeah, definitely like you take Snake Eyes and put them in yellow and stripes, it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. But
I never
that's
liked I never liked the Tiger Patrol uniforms, but I always liked the Tiger Patrol. You know,
idea.
well, I like the idea more now that I read that, and I like the fact that the vehicles kind of had like the weird, like old World War II planes that they put a face on the side of the old Spitfire jets. I like that aspect of it. Like, oh, we're taking this Cobra vehicle and we're putting a face on the side of it and make it look kind of badass and scary looking. But yeah, that's about as far as like Tiger Patrol goes. I would like to see a version of Tiger Patrol that exists in this, but just hopefully they won't have the stupid uniforms.
Exactly.
Yeah, like if
Exactly.
this is
Like
Night Force, I'd like to see that there's a Tiger Patrol out there. I'd like to see that there's I don't remember any of the other subgroups they had outside of
uh
Night Force was the big
it's
one.
I mean they're slowly adding a bunch of them
Hmm.
to classified because they can just do a repaint of a pre-existing character easy peasy, and
Well, I
they're
mean,
all I don't
you
like any
got to
of them.
max out that mold.
Yeah.
You paid money for that mold, you got to use it more than once.
Yeah, but I love this where it's like everybody involved. We see Flint and Lady J at the end. We got Beachhead. They all look exactly
Hmm.
like they normally do, and there's no stupid costumes. I mean, if anything else, Night Force, I would think their costumes would just be black.
It was. Night Force thing was black, fluorescent. The vehicles were all painted black with like glow in the dark stickers.
But it's like the fluorescent
And
angle that like
there
just
was a fluorescent guns and stuff like that.
yeah, it's
Like
like just
a
I
little
don't
bit
know.
of black lighting, but mostly like the uniforms were all black uniforms and black
Okay.
ops looking stuff to fight against Cobras. Who did Cobra? What was the Cobra version of that?
I think it was Python
Pyth
Patrol.
no, Python Patrol was the anti-Tiger Force or Tiger. No,
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Tiger Squad. What the
No, it
what was
wouldn't
that
have been.
thing?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Malort Patrol, I think. There you go. They're the drunk Cobra operatives.
I like the
And
idea of
another
just
thing, Duke.
there's just a bunch of drunk Joes that go behind enemy lines and steal all their vehicles because the government won't give them the money to do it.
Possibly the best issue of this book to date. Void Rivals 19.
I, I've oh this.
Absolutely, I absolutely loved. I loved this so much.
This is the most transforming book out there. To like Transformer and had absolutely zero to do with Void Rivals. outside that Schizoid is in Void Rivals, but
Well, he's kind of a Void Rivals character now, right? So
now technically, yeah, but he's not he's an original Hasbro character. He's not
yeah, but
he's
that's what
not
this
something
Void
new.
Rivals is, just Kirkman adding to that, so it
Yeah,
makes sense. He says in the afterwards, when I started this series, I could never have imagined there would one day be a standalone Scuckoid issue. Um, he gets cut in half. Scuckoid gets cut in half in, I guess it was 18. And then here we find out that anytime he loses a body part, it grows another Scuckoid. So he, I, there's a lot of them. But we also get the introduction of the Junkions, which I thought was pretty cool. But I have to ask this question. So what is the head Junkion? Rutgar or Retgar?
Rekar.
The mustache and goatee. So they
Does he
look
have it?
like hair in this. I
Yeah,
always assumed it was like a metal or plastic or whatever, but they really look like hair. Am I wrong?
yeah, you have a point. Maybe it is like fake hair you put onto his face.
It's really weird. Did they ever make a so Rekgar is obviously the
Oh yeah, it's
Junkion
flowing
leader.
there, ain't it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's flowing. That's exactly it. That's what yes. Well said.
Well, I mean, he's Junkion, so he probably took a bunch of he saw it on the side thing and just glued it to his face because that's what something he would probably do.
Yeah, okay,
It
fair,
makes more
fair.
sense him having facial hair because he watches all those American TV shows than it does like for a regular
Okay.
Transformer who's never seen it.
Okay,
So
that makes
yeah,
sense. Okay, I like that. Nicely
yeah,
done, sir.
sure.
Uh, I want to know who the TV faced. It reminds me of Saga, the TV people.
Oh, I got
Um, I
that
want
vibe too.
I want to know who that is because they don't tell you, and it's not a Scuckoid. So I don't know if it's going to be something we recognize or something new. But the the other Junkions. Were there ever any figures for the other Junkions?
So I think they did one. They've done a couple over the years. Rekgar being the primary that they've done.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
you've seen him, but I just don't
the
remember
last
ever
couple of
seeing.
years, the last year or 2 years ago, they were doing more Junkion random figures.
Hmm.
Um, because they were doing these like last couple of years. I think they stopped, but they've been doing these like they don't really transform as much as you take them apart and put them together again.
Okay.
And like their parts are used for armor and stuff like that. So there was a couple of Junkians in that because it made sense that the junk guys would tear apart.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think they did like some beast guys, but they were all skeletons that were kind of cool, and they did some rock guys that were the same thing.
Okay.
I'm looking around. I have a couple, but I don't know where they're at. I liked them because they were different, but they're not. They had slight transformation, but a lot of it was like take the chest off, put the chest here.
Right. Right. Okay.
You could add that chest to this guy's armor. You could switch this. You could switch out the legs to the guy and create a completely different Junkion or Junkion robot. Alt mode. So it was kind of neat. So yeah, they were kind of like that. I think there was like a couple like they would just take Redgar alt mode and just change the head to the like this other guy's head.
Right.
And he would be the other guy. That was pretty much the full extent of the I want to say other Junkions that were out there. Most of the time they would just have Rekgar be his own character and not a race
Yeah.
of yeah.
I always like the drones. Like I liked what's his fucking name? With the sweeps, Scourge of
Oh
the
yeah.
sweeps. Even though it's
Yeah.
just a generic, like. I remember at one point I'm like, are they ever going to make any sweeps figures? And I realized they all just look the same. You just buy
Yeah.
three fucking Scourges, which I'm not going to do. So um, and in fact, I was just reading. Where the fuck was this? I was just reading something about Cyclonus was originally going to have the same thing where there were going to be multiple,
Yeah,
and then they
it,
did scrap that idea.
he only had one guy outside of him, at least in the movie. Yeah,
He didn't. He's only in the movie for a second, and you never see him again.
yeah.
That's very interesting. That's right. Yeah, the transformation scene.
Fun fact on Junkions, which you probably don't know, and several people out there do. Wreck-Gar, and when they did a animated version of Transformers, which was kind of fun, in like 20 years ago.
Well,
Um,
wait a minute.
when it
They
so it was
always
like
do animated.
so
What are you
it's
talking about?
animated, but it was like animated stylized animation. Do you know what I mean? So
No.
like how Batman the Animated Series has its own style to
Yeah,
it.
okay, got it, got it. Okay.
So it was stylized animated. So it was called Transformers Animated, and it was very stylized. They're not, pull up a picture, throw it up now. As you can see here in this imaginary picture, I'm just guessing what you put there. Big top, skinny legs. They don't, it's very animated style. It's like
Okay, got it.
it's more cartoonish than the cartoon itself.
Got it. Okay.
Um, and then they had a Wreck-Gar character in there, and that guy was voiced by Weird Al Yankovic.
Which makes sense because this,
He
it's
did the
famous.
song. Yeah,
Yes, exactly. Dare to be stupid.
yes. And he turned into a garbage truck. And it was perfect casting, perfect everything as far as Wreck-Gar goes.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought you might dig that a little bit.
Hmm.
Ah,
Yeah, so this was pretty much a completely Transformers issue. You're right, between Skuckoid and the Junkions. Well, and then I love this where we're mixing all the pots because then you got a Cobra La guy, that's with them.
I like
So
the Cobra La guy as the straight guy in this whole thing.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
they're just copying TV shows. We never watched them, but I recognize them right off the
Yeah,
bat that he's
exactly.
just doing TV shows. But yeah, it was the straight guy. I kind of enjoyed that. Like a planet full of weirdos. The one Earthling. He's technically an Earthling, right?
Yeah, he would be
Is
because they're from
is
Earth.
is yeah, is from underground plant people or snake people.
You guys are so weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, we get this last shot of what I'm assuming is the elder Skuckoid that they're all,
the one with the wife and kids.
apparently.
I enjoyed that the most was the fact that, like, oh, it's not because there was that couple issues ago where he's like, oh, I don't have a wife and kids, and you're like, oh, what happened to them?
Yeah,
And then you
exactly.
found out, like, oh no, he's a multiple. So yeah, it's not that he doesn't have a wife and kids. It's just he never had those wife and
Yeah,
kids.
he just has the alpha's memory, right? Because that's the
Yeah,
whole like the other one is teaching him as they go, right? No, I was where
yeah,
you were, kid. Like that's his wife and kid. They're not ours. So that was
yeah,
cool. Yeah, we got Transformers, man. I don't know.
yeah.
What did you read? I read 20. I read 19, 20, and 21, but we'll just talk about
I
2021.
believe I'm caught up on 19, 20, and 21. 19's where Megatron comes back, right?
That's the one where he fights. They show like him fighting those trials for the Quintessons,
Yeah,
which I didn't completely understand, but that's fine. It was a cool. I didn't understand if the Quintesson that was putting him through the trials, the guy with the he's not an actual Quintesson. I don't know what that other race is, but they have the tentacles in the metal body.
yeah. They
It
work
it
for the Quintessons.
it seemed like he turned into that giant dinosaur robot, but then that wasn't what happened because the dinosaur robot attacked him in the end.
Yeah, I don't. Oh God, I don't remember what happened outside that. Or
I
that
felt like there
Megatron
was
went
a
through the
little bit of
trials. Yeah.
visual like muddiness to elements of the story. It was still great. I mean, I love Jorge Corona's art so much. Um,
Well, I think the whole point of that story was that the fact that Megatron became more evil than he already was by
yeah,
the end of it. Um, just cause.
just cause.
Yeah, just kept
What do you
coming.
think about him coming back in 2021?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that like he had no eyes. He was still like Laserbeak's there, and he's just pieced himself back together. Um, 20 was where he saved Starscream just so he can wield him as a gun.
Yep.
Kind of weird. I get this, like the whole sadistic part is like, no, shut up. You're the trigger man, and I'm the fucking gun.
Well,
But
they introduced this idea in 19 that he is given this ability where when somebody holds him, he basically takes over their mind.
okay, I
Or
don't.
maybe he doesn't take over their mind, but they have to listen to him, right? He exerts some level of control.
Okay, I don't remember that, but that does sound about right.
And then you see it at the end of 20 because at the end of 20 he has Starscream just destroy Astrotrain.
Yeah, it is a weird the power of the gun thing that they're pulling with us. I don't fully understand it, but they'll make. I guess maybe they'll explain it more in the future. It also could explain why there's this corruption going on in Optimus Prime for just
Well,
having the
that's
arm.
it's the arm 100%.
Yeah,
That I love. So in 21 I thought that was a great turn because I've just loved the fact that he's had that arm for so long,
yeah.
and I thought that was a very cool development I did not see coming.
And boy, did that arm just attached back on a Megatron, lickety split.
Yeah, lickety split. Like no, it wouldn't come off
Yeah,
Optimus, but it attached very easily to Megatron.
yeah.
Uh, I loved once again seeing Bruticus and Devastator. Although I gotta say, like I'm Team Bruticus, so I don't get that Devastator is more powerful. I thought maybe it was just because as they would introduce them back in the day, that each one would be more powerful. Um, Bruticus seems a little bit like an idiot in.
Well, I think the idea was that whenever they turned into a giant robot, that the five brains contradict each other, kind of made them not as smart. So they're powerful, but they're not smart. And I think the only ones that did it, the aerial bots a little bit, but like
Computron,
the
right?
Autobots were Computron was probably the smartest one, and that he was smarter when they came together.
Yeah.
Everyone else was kind of the dumb ones. They're not like dumb. Some were dumber, but they're brutes. They're not. They're force. They're brute force.
Yes.
They're not meant to be like, well, now that we're all together, I'm leader.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
They're not questioning anything. No one's going like Devastator's not going like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't kick down this building. It would make more sense to kick down that building.
Right.
Yeah. No, they're
I'm
just
glad you explained that. I was going to ask
yeah.
you. I was curious, like, if there was any lore as far as like how that works when you get the merging of these five individual, you know,
Yeah. I can't remember if Superion was better because he was your spirit. I know Motor Master wasn't very smart either. Or the car one.
yeah, the
The Stunticon
Stunticons.
one. Devastator Menasor.
Menasor, there you go.
But yeah, I can't shoot. Who's the Protectobots was
Technobots, I think were
Technobots
Computron. Protectobots, I
Computron.
had some of them, and I don't remember what they were called.
Protectobots were the opposite of because everyone had opposites, like
Yeah,
so the Stunticons, aeroplanes, weapons of mass destructions, ambulances, Computron, and I think it was
oh,
like
the Beasts.
monsters, the
Yeah, they were
beasts.
the dude.
Yeah,
They were the best. They were the
yeah.
fucking best.
I don't know if it was
Uh,
Predaking. Well, though Predaking is the best, but I think it was it Predaking or was it someone else? I think it was like the Anamorph monsters guys.
Predaking, I think Devastator and Predaking are standalone,
Yeah,
where the
exactly.
other ones all have like a counterpart. Autobot
Yeah, and they're
Decepticon.
all similarity in the transformation.
I've really been liking that they're spending so much time with these kind of G1, well, or it's all G1, but like the waves, right? So we're really, I don't think we've gotten past the second wave of the original G1 releases. And I kind of don't care about a lot of the characters in
I
that.
think there's been Air Superion would have been the second wave.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we're in the second wave with Superion and
Yeah.
Bruticus and whatnot, but Wheeljack and Jazz and Beachcomber,
Oh
Cliffjumper, they're
yeah,
not
they're all
traditionally,
original.
they're not, they're not historically characters I care about, but I really have been enjoying the way they've been using them. And I was thinking about what you were saying about how, okay, so they ended up not using Bumblebee in this series, but they just made Cliffjumper basically their Bumblebee. But I kind of think that's cool because Cliffjumper never really got his due, I mean,
Yeah. Although I think they're getting rid of Cliffjumper because they're going to replace him with Thunderdome or whatever his name is.
Thunderdome? What?
The van that turns into Carly's
Oh,
van. Like
Shredhead?
Shredhead, who's literally
Is
Carly's van.
is that a real character from the
No,
previous
they
lore?
created that one. They
Okay.
created that one for the show or the comic. Yeah, he's new. Because in this, they're kind of hinting at like, oh, well, we can only send one back, and Cliffjumper's like, oh, this is Carly. You should meet her. She's really nice.
Yes.
You look just like her van.
Yeah. No, it
Yeah.
is
So
his van.
Shredhead's going.
He
Yeah,
he is the van.
he is the van. Yes. The way did he? I don't remember. Did he merge with the van,
Don't remember.
or was he
I have
just
no
so?
idea.
I just thought he just came online and turned into that van, and then just like there was nothing like the van's still on Earth destroyed or whatever because then it got destroyed, right?
I'm I don't remember how we got there with that character. So I was wondering the same thing. I'm gonna guess there was like they had the personality saved and they just needed a body and they put it in the van or something like that. Or they like I don't know. I'm not even sure. But this is one of the things I really like about this book is there's so many factions and there's so many different things going on. Like you got in 21 Thundercracker, who's still upset about Skywarp being kind of written off by the other Decepticons. He's doing his own shit, and him and Skywarp teleport out with the Ark and just leave everybody behind. He makes some comment like, Megatron now will taste the bullshit that he's inflicted on other people or whatever. So there are no,
Yeah,
the kind of
I like that Skywarp still had that power. No one ever thought like, hey, you could teleport.
yeah, right. And like in the cartoon, as much as I love the cartoon, the G1 stuff, it's just real cut and dry, man. It's just you're either a
Hmm.
Decepticon or Autobot, right? And it was one
Yeah,
of the things I liked about the original Marvel comic is it wasn't quite so simple. But this is really like, I mean, dude, there's so many factions.
yeah. Everyone's kind of Decepticons always kind of did their own thing, you
But I mean,
know.
even within yes, because there's
Yeah,
always like secret like allegiances or
because
whatnot. But I
but
mean, with Thundercracker and Skywarp leaving,
yeah. Well, Starscream really hurt his feelings.
yeah, because normally, like they would do their own thing, but their own thing would be, I'm going to take over the Decepticons, right? But here
Yeah,
you've got like, no, let's just fucking leave.
yeah. I'd be curious to see where they left off to. I don't think Skywarp's teleporting abilities go that far. You're just going to find out the ship is a block away.
Yeah, nice, probably. But
Somehow it's in the middle of a Walmart.
and dude, the end of this issue, like one of the aerial bots gets killed.
Yeah, how are they going to farm Spain now?
You notice the name of this book should be like Transformers Amputee because how many fucking motherfuckers are missing arms in this series so far? Like a fucking lot. It is a plethora of severed limbs in this.
Well, I realized something when I was reading this. Like, it never really occurred to me before with the severed limbs is like, it's all kind of just dirty and grungy, metally looking
Yeah.
thing. And there's a lot of elements of the G1, G2 artwork from Marvel in that style that I never realized before. Because I think this artwork was a little bit better than the old Marvel artwork, but the old Marvel artwork did have that kind of
Yeah.
grunty old style, and it didn't even occur to me that like, oh yeah, this is old Marvel type. You're drawing inspiration from Marvel more ways than one. But yeah, it's fun.
It is. It really is. And I agree with that
Yeah.
100%. I actually just got so I didn't even realize this. I was missing so Simon Furman took over writing the original Marvel comic in the 50s, I think. And so I
Okay.
had they published them out of order, but I had the last two trades that ended the series, and then I had one called Primal Scream, and I was missing the one called Matrix Quest, and I just grabbed that. Titan Books put
Okay.
these out.
Are those the British ones or are those the
No,
Marvel
this is
ones?
so Simon Furman wrote the British one, and then he
Yeah.
eventually got brought over to the American one, and I really like the way the series. I mean, I like the series in general. I never
Hmm.
followed it issue by issue, but I like the stuff Bob Budiansky wrote because he took some like Ratbat was the leader of the fucking Decepticons at some point.
Yeah.
So fucking
Weird.
random, but I liked it. I thought it was really cool. Like his
And he
weird,
was like a senator too. Like before he was Rat Bat, he was like
yeah.
a high-end senator that became this Soundwave's bitch.
And it was like such a weird, he was like coming in and like it's like if you have a business and now the accountants are running the business because he was always like crunching numbers about like
Hmm.
about energy and whatnot, and like him and Shockwave had this kind of antagonistic partnership or whatever. But I liked a lot of that stuff. But then I felt like Simon Furman really kicked it into high gear, and then he came back and he did. So at some point, we should cover that Regeneration one. I think that book just the one that came out in like 2012, 2013, and
Okay.
continued that book blew me away. What I didn't realize is after Transformers ended with like issue 80 for Marvel,
Hmm.
they did do like they called it like Generation 2 or something like
Yeah.
that.
They brought it back.
It was Simon Furman. I had no fucking idea. So I need to get that as
Yeah, that was
well.
in the mid '90s. It had the great foil gatefold
Ugh.
Optimus Prime cover, which is well, it's a great cover because when you pop it up here, you'll see there's like bullets hanging out of it, like bullet shells, and it's just so
Oh,
gritty.
interesting.
Yeah, it
Interesting.
reminds me of that, when I saw that recently, because we got it back in recently, I was like, oh wow, this is just like the current stuff where everyone's damaged and full of grit and dirt and just have bullet holes in them and are, still fighting and yeah, that's the one issue where I was like, oh yeah, this is exactly what they did before, what they're doing
Hmm.
now. Where
Yeah,
the
it
last
is.
several years, it's all been clean cut, like this cover here, clean
Yeah,
cut robots, which is fine. Um,
I like the dirtier one. It fits with Daniel Warren Johnson's aesthetic. Like if you read his Beta Ray
yeah,
Bill series, which I love, there's like a just a like a space, and there's elements of that in this too, where it's like the technology, it's this industrial level technology, cyber technology, and there's a lot of analog shit, and so it's bulkier and it breaks, and
yeah,
I don't
it's
know, I
not
really like
pretty.
that aesthetic.
Yes, I agree.
So yeah, I mean, now we're caught up with Energon. We should come back soon and do something. We are going to come back soon and do something completely different than what we've been doing.
Yeah, no, and then Zartan, where's Zartan? Enter
Oh,
Zartan
let's do that.
music.
Where do you think Zartan is?
I think he is. Oh, I had a crazy idea. Shit, where'd it go? I lost it.
You think he's the guy with the TV helmet?
There you go. Um, that, or he is. I don't know. Maybe he is General Flag. Going back to General Flag's really like snooching his mooch everywhere, isn't he?
Yeah, well, they're setting him up to be. That's another. It
Yeah.
reminds me of the IDW universe where it's like, yeah, these people aren't necessarily good people. They're willing to do some dirty shit to get the job done, be it good or bad.
Oh crap! I had one from last. What did we read last week? I was going to say that was Zartan, and I completely spaced on it.
I don't fucking remember.
Ah, I guess. I guess we could scratch the Zartan moment. All right, then enter the music again. Mostly, I just want to hear the music because he did such a great job on that.
Well, thank you. I'm gonna guess that Zartan is Carly.
Yeah. He's
And
thunder. He's Thunder's head or whatever.
yeah. So
Yeah, that's not a bad guess.
yeah, it is. It's pretty bad.
Where is Zartan? Zartan should be showing up any day now. I feel like
Maybe.
he's still the president.
Yeah, I
That's
know, right?
probably it. He's the
Hey,
president.
I'm out of beer. So
I am too.
this is Drinking with Comics. I'm Shawn,
I'm Mike.
and we'll be back to pick you up later. Hi, I'm Shawn. Join me and my friends every week for the Horror Vision, where we talk about horror movies.
Zartan!
You sound like Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Willy Wang. Oh,